It's tier list time. With the new release of Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I'm sure you're curious as to what units are top 10 in this game. So I'm going to be giving my take on it. This is a tier list I made on stream. I always do tier lists on stream, then I come back in a video format to explain what we talked about. And you guys can feel free to leave your input in the comment section below. Take every Legends Limited at 9 stars, Ultras at 10, and Sparkings at 14. This is about average. Sparkings are easier to Z-power, and for Legends Limiteds and Ultras, if you really saved and went all in for them, that's about the star level you should get if you really like that character. Let's get into this. Right, so we've got the tier list here. As you can see, 1A, 1B, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got the honorable mentions, which is not in order, and the fan service tier. We're starting at the 2 at the bottom. Those 2 at the bottom, so the fan service first, they don't matter. They're just here to get some screen time, you know. You might be an Ultra Margin Vegeta fan, not making the top 10, not in this list. But hey, he's on the list because he's cool today. Final Form Cooler, you might be a cooler fan. Itku, over there, the instant transmission Goku, you might like him, so you just gotta fill out some spaces. Gotta give people some screen time just for the sake, you know. But in the honorable mentions, we have some genuine characters that could make the list for you, so they could take the number 10 spot for you. But for me and in stream, it just wasn't enough. The majority of people said they weren't cutting it. So if we go through all of these guys, it's more so that they're like the third option on any team that they can fit on. Subpar maybe Evo Vegeta. I feel like Evo Vegeta, if you're running him, you're trying to make him the main man, as he's a purple that can deal with Final Form Frieza. But that's pretty much it. But even then, he's not as optimal as the other characters that we have in the list. Metal Cooler, if his defenses were just a bit better, he would easily make the list, but obviously he's getting melted very easily. Tien is literally just the second life. Captain Ginyu, same deal. Kale Caulifla, they got half health break and their healing is good, but they can get sniped very easily. Krillin can get sniped too. And Cell, he's a glass cannon to be honest, and his damage isn't even that amazing anymore. So for these guys, they just weren't making it in my list, but maybe for you, they could easily be a 10th spot. You guys let me know in the comment section below. But let's actually get into the top 10 now, the real juicy part of this tier list. Now we're starting here at 10 and 9, and I was going to go 1 by 1, but I felt it would make sense to go 2 by 2 based on how the tier list is going to unfold. Basically, you guys will see as we go along. So we're going to start with MUI Goku. He's valuable mainly because of his stall. If he gets hit, he's going to get clipped, and especially being type advantage to one of the best units in the game, Ultra Final Form Frieza, he is quite the liability. His stalling is literally his main value. Last stand or 2v3 or whatever situation, given that one ally is dead, he can be very valuable because he can output way better damage and he can get some type neutral in those situations. Vanish is well available on this guy's kit. The main ability is very valuable, but really he's a defensive liability and it's way too risky to play him. Now if we move on to Feetku in the same predicament. Because he's blue, he's a victim to one of the best units in the game, Ultra Final Form Frieza. But at least for this guy, he's going to support his team super well. He can heal health breaks to break the enemy's combo. He's actually effective on the battlefield and he can tank a lot better than MUI Goku. Now for these two characters here, the reason that I brought them up together is mainly because they fulfill the same role on any team that they'd be on. Nowadays, MUI Goku is not going to be a first pick on any team he's on, especially if you have any of the other characters you guys will see as we go along this tier list. And Feetku the same way. On Saiyan Saga or Saiyans, he's the third pick. He's that extra fulfilling role that's going to tank, support the team, heal, can output damage here and there, but that's not why he's on the team. So he's really just filling up the space to make the team more concrete, both of these guys. But of course, between these two, there's a safer option. Now MUI Goku does have endurance, but he doesn't have the buff cancellation, so that can easily get broken through, especially with Frieza, again, the death beam. But at least with Feetku, he has a better chance of tanking, more consistent type neutral. There's more options on the battlefield that he's going to survive. It's just more likely. And most players with UI, if you are an elite player, I will take him 10 times out of 10 and you should too. But that's under the condition you are an elite player. Not everybody is an elite player. So using UI Goku, most people will get hit and then they're going to get eviscerated. But even if you get hit with Feetku, your game's not over, which is why he's at 9 and MUI Goku's at 10. That was the conclusion for why we have these two at 10 and 9 and in that order. Let's now move on to the 8 and 7. Right, so we're here at 8 and 7 and we've got Legends Limited Super Saiyan 2 Kefla alongside with Legends Limited Vegeta, Revival Vegeta, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, whatever you want to call him. Let's start with Kefla at 8. Now her main reason for being at 8, her element. No purples to really stop her, so she's free to do her amazing damage. If you build her up, obviously as she's going, showing her combo potential is really high and she's going to do a lot of damage throughout that combo. And really and truly, if you want to deal with other elements that aren't purple, since there aren't any, you will be fine using her. Defensively, she's a bit of a liability though. Vegeta, he's literally the opposite. You've got that guaranteed survival and very good partners on Saiyan Saga, but his offenses aren't the greatest. They're not bad, but they aren't the greatest. Now in this case, it's similar to the 9 and 10, where Vegeta is just the safer option. With Kefla, even though she can do nice output, with Super Saiyan Goku existing, if that lock-in happens, she's liable to be sniped. Very, very vulnerable on the battlefield, where if Vegeta does get sniped, he might not even die because he has the revival, or he might just not get taken out at all because he has better defenses. So between these two, Vegeta is the better option because he's a safer option. Of course, Kefla can do more damage on the offensive, but the odds are you're going to get hit on the battlefield. The average person will get hit. Again, you could be an elite player, but that's very a niche scenario, very limited options for the majority of the player base. Not everybody is an elite player. Most people aren't elite players, and even if you are, you can still get hit, and if it just takes you one time to get hit, that's too risky to play in the meta we're in. So that's why Kefla is at 8 and then Vegeta is at 7. Coincidence here, we've got 2 of the same element, 2 in the same element. That's not on purpose, that just happened. Kefla here, if she had better defenses or some sort of survivability, she could even be way higher on the list, but really she's just a cannon. I wouldn't even say she's glass, it's just that the units above her are just so powerful that she gets melted. Let's get into the 6 and 5 now. Now at number 6, we've got Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, the Tag 4s. We know they got their platinum equipment and they've been looking really nice since then. And we've also got Ultra Super Vegeta at number 5. Now between these two, it's just another similar situation. With the Tag 4s, their damage output is crazy, but especially because of their explosive green, it makes it super easy for them to start combos. They do get cover no, and they can easily tag switch in between, plus reversing element, which isn't that valuable, but in the scenario there is a purple, you can also break through them, and they can also do good damage against blues, which there is a few, not a lot, but there is options there. Tag 4s, their blue card damage is really their biggest seller point. If they get a blue card that vanish back, it's gonna hit, probably do 80% of most people's health in this meta. I've done crazy damage even against the ultras in the game. But Ultra Super Vegeta, the damage that he can do is less than the Tag 4s, and that should go without saying, especially now he's been power crept in such a short time. But with Ultra Super Vegeta, he has a lot of access to type neutral, and his value isn't just about doing damage. He's a defense type, so mainly it's surviving on the battlefield. Tanking is his main selling point. I already spoke about the neutral. He has endurance, so he's able to have a little bit of a second life. It can get cancelled, but again, if he's tanking a lot, he should be fine. But one thing I do want to point out that a lot of people forget about when it comes to Ultra Super Vegeta is that he's also building up damage sustained against the enemy. So even if he's not doing damage, the enemy is getting weaker. And if you break them down through building up the damage sustained against the enemy, you can switch out to somebody else who will do amazing damage. And that's an amazing asset for the team in general. So overall, Ultra Super Vegeta, that tanking ability, just like every pair that I've brought up now, it's just a pair of 2s where one's more safer to run because of the defensive aspect of their kit. The game is just in that state where if you can't defend at a high level, you're less valuable, especially in the face of all these ultras. It's just the case. It's unfortunately just the case. You can do all the offenses you want, unless you're one tapping every unit in the game, which nobody's doing. You're gonna need some defenses, and in this case, Ultra Super Vegeta is gonna take the cake. It's not even like his offenses are bad, they're just worse than the Tag 4s, so comparatively. But the defenses, he's gapping the Tag 4s, and because of the type neutral quite consistently, he will be fine in most cases on PvP, which is why Tag 4s are at 6 and then Ultra Super Vegeta at 5. And just note, between these pairs, one pair is better than the other from my point of view and the chat's point of view. So if the Tag 4's blue card is on the battlefield, they're gonna do crazy damage enough to the point where it's more valuable than Vegeta's defenses, especially when you have other options as we go up the tier list. Now we're going up another 2, but here's where things kind of switch up because of core mechanics that are valuable in PvP. We've got Kaioken Goku at number 4 and Ultra Super Saiyan Goku at number 3. Let's start with Kaioken Goku. This guy, you have to build him defensively now. In the part 2 of the anniversary, you could build him full offenses and his defenses would just work for itself. But now it's not like that anymore. Power creep been introduced and he's getting a bit weaker. His offenses are still good, but his defenses, the way his gauge break won't hold up. You You know, he won't be able to break your combo the way he used to if you don't build him defensively. So that healing aspect in his kit, you have to prioritize him defensively to get the pure output that you want out of him. On any Saiyan team, he's going to be very valuable. Don't get it twisted. He's still very dangerous, but you just have to be a bit more wary about how you're building. But that isn't a setback in any way, shape or form. He's the best Legends Limited in the game, full stop. And that says a lot about his value right now. Honestly, his element very safe. You know, there is blues at the bottom of his top 10, and that's not no disrespect, you know, because they're still in the top 10, but it's not really like they're a major threat to him, especially with the way his gauge works. So I think he's pretty much fine. It's really just these core mechanics in the game that are just way too powerful for him to overcome as we go into talking about Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. Now, honestly, Kaioken probably tanks better than Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. He maybe does even more offenses than Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. Not that I would agree to that, but that's to show how dangerous Kaioken Goku can be. But Ultra Super Saiyan Goku is still doing crazy damage, and in some scenarios tanking, of course. He has too many things that just make him a cheese fest in every ranked PvP game, even if he's on or off the battlefield. On the battlefield, explosive green. If his gauge feels he's got the lock-in, and immediately he can hit an ultimate to take somebody out. If he's not going to do that, let's say you were damaging him or his allies, he's going to come back with a blue card, and that blue card has a chance to feint you, and it's going to do crazy damage. It's not consistent because you have to take some hits, but it's something that could really turn the tide of a battle if used at the best time. Now, even outside of that, so off the battlefield, the KO guard comes into play, and it's something that people must run nowadays. You could take out a whole team, right? Have the endurance layer popped on one unit, have the revival layer popped on one unit, and then you finally take somebody out. Well, Super Saiyan Goku's KO guard saves the day, and that's something you cannot replicate in any other unit. But for more so off his battlefield is why he's at 3. If he had more on battlefield things that were really oppressive, he could easily be a 1 or 2, which is why there's 1A, 1B. But in this case, the KO guard is going to keep him at top of the game very easily. Even if they drop the whole meta of reds, that aspect of having the KO guard on your team is invaluable, and it can't be replicated somewhere else. It can't be replaced somewhere else. It's a new layer that is actually so much more effective than any other survivability. Given that your teammates get taken out, they can be revived, whether they have survivability or not, and that's nuts. There's nothing in Kaioken's kit that is more valuable than the KO guard, which is why Kaioken's at 4, better than the rest of the list, but not good enough to beat Super Saiyan Goku at number 3. So now we have the 1A, 1B, and you can call them 1 or 2, interchangeable, however you want to go about it. We have the 2 Ultras, Ultra Final Form Frieza and Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Now, originally, when we made the tier list, most people were siding with Frieza as number 1, but I gave a lot of Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta believers the time to argue their case. But let me just talk about them separately and give you their value. So Ultra Frieza, he's got the Death Beam, he's got Endurance, he's got buff cancellation, safest element in the game, strong allies, the team he's on. It's just amazing to run him. Nothing more to be said, to be honest. Just straight powerhouse, doesn't let you breathe. We then have Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, the new switch attack which does crazy damage, element red. So he's pretty much in a good position as well. Not as safe as an element, but still a safe element. And on top of that, he does probably the best damage in the game. Crazy combos, especially considering he's the newest unit in the game. Undoubtedly, those things are going to be the case. Being an Ultra, it seems that they can't miss when it comes to Ultra Vegeta unit. Now, with both of these units, like I said, we had a bit of discussion about Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And shout out Monarch in the stream. He was actually able to turn the tides for Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta believers as top 1. And we ended up having them interchangeable. And the main argument would be that whatever team is the best in the game, he's going to fit on it pretty much. We have Frieza, you could run Frieza Saga, but an Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is also invaluable having him on the leader slot. But even if you wanted to run Saiyans, then you'd have Frieza on the leader slot, and they're basically just interchanging roles depending on what team you want to put them on. I think just because of that, the damage potential, the switch attack is actually crazy. There was a bug found with it and that's being fixed, so that might actually sway the argument more in Frieza's favor. But nonetheless, he's not someone to be swept under the rug. The extension of combos with him in addition to Frieza, they're just the best partners together, And I think together they're better than not together, as in to say Frieza is better just because you don't want to use Vegeta is more like just shutting down Vegeta's arguments, and to say Frieza is better would be just shutting down Vegeta's arguments, or vice versa. I don't think I said that correctly, but you guys get the point. You shouldn't shut down each other's arguments when they can literally be the most insane assets for each other, and that in general is too much for the game. While being elements that are just like Vegeta being red, what element protects red? It's green. You know, you got blues coming for the red, and you got the green right there with no purples in existence. These two top 1, top 2, I don't feel like it's a harsh conversation to have. If you wanted to have one of them and at 2 and one at 1, fine, but I think interchangeable is something that everybody can agree, which is why they're at 1A, 1B. But yeah, man, I was doing some evaluation after finishing the tier list, and if there's anything I would change, I think it would just be Vegeta moving up, or I might make these two interchangeable. And my main reason for that would simply be that the Tag 4s and GT aren't a fully fledged team yet. Tag 4s are really just making it up here on this list based on damage, but I think I'm more comfortable having Vegeta just based on the revival layer. There's a reason why every single game is going to pretty much 0 timer counts, and that's distressing, but it's the case, so it shouldn't be ignored. If I'm gonna move anything, I would think I would definitely have it like this. So I would move this and then have it like but yeah, 6, 7 is pretty valuable for both of these guys. I'm gonna take Vegeta just to play it safe. I don't want to have too many interchangeables. I think that makes it look like you're indecisive, but I think these two, especially being the same element, maybe you're just favoring the damage aspect, and their damage still pretty good. But Vegeta having that safety factor when you already have these units here, adding Vegeta as a +1 to these units here would be more effective than adding the Tag 4s, just based on these units here already carrying the weight of offenses on teams. Maybe even these 3, to be honest, could also fit the bill, you know? But hey, I'm gonna leave it like this for now, and I'm gonna have Vegeta just 1 higher than Tag 4s. I feel like when GT gets more developed, or if it gets more developed, because we saw what happened with Metal Cooler, then we'd get a better outcome with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. But for now, I'm just gonna substitute Vegeta 1 up, you know? But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about this tier list that I made right here. Shout out the stream. Like I said at the start of the video, I do tier lists always on stream. Then I record the video giving the explanations about all the discussions that we had. They're genuine discussions. I let people type out paragraphs, and I take everybody's input in while basically hosting the tier list. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.